Ryan Blair, the author of an incredibly provocative new book called Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain, How I Went from a Gang Member to a Multi-Millionaire Entrepreneur. Ryan, welcome to TechCrunch TV.
Thank you.
So Ryan, in 5 minutes, tell me your story. How did you go from being a gang member, you began, I know, in the gangs of Los Angeles, to becoming a multi-millionaire, successful entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur?
Well, I lost my father when I was 13 years old to drug addiction, and he pretty much drugged down the family with him. My mother was in and out of, drunken states and depression and issues, and pretty soon I was in boys' homes, juvenile detention, got caught up in the wrong crowd, and I was 13 years old. So, in the absence of a male role model, a lot of times young men will find one, and unfortunately I found the wrong ones. At about 18 years old, my mother got her act together. She got a job at a local deli, and then met a local entrepreneur who was a very successful real estate entrepreneur. And when I saw that side of the world, wealth, I made a decision that that's what I wanted. And the only way that I could do it was to be an entrepreneur, because I couldn't shoot a jump shot, couldn't act, couldn't sing, and was a high school dropout, and really had no ambition to go to college or aptitude for it. At least I didn't think so at the time. So, I started mentoring underneath him. I learned a lot about him. I observed him and decided I'd start my own business at about 19 years old, and did so. My first company was a computer repair service, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. My second company was Sky Pipeline, which later sold to Covad, and I've since started multiple companies from there.
Why did you write this book?
I wrote the book for every entrepreneur out there. I also wrote the book to dispel a lot of myths about entrepreneurship. I wrote the book to take issue with some venture capital practices that I've learned the hard way. I wrote it because I never thought, having not passed a single English class until well after I was 18 years old, that I could actually be a published author. So it was a goal that I set, and I wanted to provide contribution and value out there into the entrepreneurial community.
How many people do you believe can read this book and become entrepreneurs themselves? How much of a role model can you be?
I hope that aspiring young men that are faced with some tough decisions that they've made, or people that, couldn't be a doctor or a lawyer, aspire to become a person who employs doctors and lawyers. I believe some of the biggest problems that our nation faces right now are going to be solved through a new generation of entrepreneurs. So I believe that we need millions of entrepreneurs out there to fix a lot of big problems we're faced with. So my hope is to inspire a new generation of entrepreneurs, or get people to quit the job and go into business because they've read the skills and techniques and maybe gotten a little inspiration for me to do it.
What are the 3 key lessons you want people to draw from your book?
Learn from my mistakes. I guess that'd be number 1. I have a chapter called $1 Million Mistakes, where I write humbly every mistake I've made that cost me $1 million or better, whether it be wildly optimistic sales forecasts, as a lot of us entrepreneurs have done along the way, or the process of raising money, dating the wrong women, writing emails that you wish you could have back. There's a lot of them out there. In fact, I even put some letters that I've written to people I've invested in, letting them know that I was no longer going to invest based on the product or the results of the company, or So I think I want people to learn from my mistakes, learn from my successes, learn about the mindset necessary to become a successful entrepreneur. It's not taught in school.
The things, though, you bring up seem to me to be secondary. I think the key lesson, if there is one from this book, is how to go from being a gang member, a child of a single mother who roamed the streets, who was in continual trouble with the police, to becoming a disciplined young man, not even an entrepreneur, but someone who could hold down a job. Where's the key lesson there?
Yeah, I think that one of the key lessons, and you hit the nail on the head there, is self-discipline, self-accountability, and constantly working on improving yourself. And I still do that today. So one of the key lessons is a constant focus on self-improvement, and whether that be in a job where you can really raise the ranks and grow your income. And I certainly have a lot of employees that work for my companies now that that I want them to be entrepreneurial minded in the company. So I guess you're right. I'd say focusing on bettering yourself would be number 1, and I certainly put a lot of effort and energy into doing that in order to be the where I'm at today.